Welcome back to Last of Us Part 2, Part 38. This part is sponsored by Neil Druckmann's ass. Do you want to elongate your plot unnecessarily? Then there's no better solution than Neil Druckmann's ass. You'll be able to pull all sorts of terrible, stupid excuses just to keep the plot going longer. Here's an example. This book, The Hobbit, is very short. How can I stretch this into three-hour-long movies? And then it shows shots of people walking up the mountain, like a million of them, and it's like brilliant. So you see, thanks to Neil Druckmann's ass, you can make your movies as long as you can make them.
And of a limited time special offer, we'll grant you Hallie Gross. Gross as in you'll find this plot gross. Get it?
Yes.
So, guys, literally, the
Nothing
way
against
they
Hallie
padded
Gross
this out was...
personally. I'm pretty sure she's written good stuff in the past. This just isn't one.
So, in a ploy to pad out the plot more, the developers decided to make Lev a suicidal idiot. Going back for his mom, who he insists should come along with them, even though he doesn't listen to reason whatsoever.
Like I said, Jova, that ass just keeps on giving.
But guess what, guys? We're actually going to...
Abby, over here.
This is also where we wrap up a certain plot line that's sort of been in the game. The whole war going on. And it's where we really get to play just how much of an idiot everyone in...
Stop. I've got it.
Sorry,
this
Joe.
plot. I don't need your pity ever since I lost my arm.
Mm-hmm. Alright, let's keep going.
Go.
So yeah, do you want to elongate your plot? Just pull something out of Neil Druckmann's ass. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money
Again,
back.
gameplay-wise...
But we can't guarantee you'll get your money back.
Alright, go ahead, Jova.
So, yeah, gameplay-wise, again, this is fine, but even if you're in it for just the gameplay, there's only so much of the whole sneak your stuff, shooting gun, running gun, or whatnot before things get boring. Again, stuff like the Rat King, for, for how weird and out of nowhere it came, at the very least, the Rat King was a nice change in gameplay. But because we're so focused on the human story, not much can really change over the course. Or, maybe could have changed stuff if there was more enemy variety, but there isn't.
There's something I haven't understood though. Why is it called the Rat King? Like, it has nothing to do with rats. Because trust me, like you can.
Let me check. Well, apparently it's called the Rat King because again, I'm reading this off Wikipedia here. It's apparently based on it was based on some sort of alleged phenomenon from Germany, where basically there's a bunch of rats whose tails are tied together by anything.
I get it, because the Rat King is basically a bunch of cordyceps merged together because they became plant-like enough to merge.
I understand that logic, but for someone, unless you look it up like Dibs just did, that name is just going to confuse you. I think they should have come up with a better name.
I guess, to be fair, it's never actually named in-game, so...
It is actually, Jova, because every time you do something in the game, you get points, which you can spend in the model viewer to purchase, and one of them is the Rat King's model, and it always has the title of whatever character it is, and when you unlock the models for the various infected and you get to the Rat King, it says right there, the Rat King. So no, the game the name is actually in game.
Kind of weird that they don't include a bio for those models to explain them.
Yeah, you'd think.
You think that would be the perfect place to put a bio and explain how certain enemy types are and whatnot. Huh.
But no. Go read Wikia. That jackass. Why should do any work when the fan Wikia will just do our job for us?
They'll just come up with their own theories.
So, Pedro, do we quote-unquote meet Sarah and Lev's mother, Yara and Lev's mother in this part, quote-unquote?
No, that's still
Wink,
gonna be a
wink, wink, wink.
ways. We first have to get to the island. After that we need to get to the center of the island. It's still gonna take a bit.
Ah, yes, all this padding. But
It's
don't worry,
in
guys,
part 40, if I remember correctly.
Don't worry, guys. We're getting a lot of build-up to meeting Yara and Lev's mother. It'll surely be an intense confrontation.
Okay. I'll try and. Okay, I've got 2 predictions on that. Either we get there and Lev's already killed the bitch, or Lev got there and the mom committed suicide or something.
You got it the first time, Dibs. Good job.
Yep, your first guess was right. Okay, now I can pretty much read this off from TV tropes under the...
Maybe the context from the game will.
Yeah, about that, Webs. It happens off screen.
Yep,
Oh, boy,
your
my favorite.
favorite. Okay, basically, under they wasted a perfectly good character. The Seraphites, in general, a puritanical religious cult operating in a world that's effectively ended, was an interesting
Hold on,
faction to throw into the games.
And now, as a throwback to the first game, we have another sniper duel.
Hey, Manny.
Exactly, Dibs. Very good.
Manny was one of the guys who helped in killing Joel. He was the guy who literally spit on Joel's
That
mom.
guy that people thought was a Neil Druckmann self-insert, even though it actually isn't. Don't worry, Dibs.
Well, there was a legit mistake on people's part, that at least.
Yeah, I thought people were thinking that the Neil Druckmann self-insert was the one fucking Abby.
Owen doesn't look anything like Neil Druckmann, so I don't even understand why.
That was the one people thought was him. Yeah, because that's why Neil had to clarify that it wasn't him.
Oh, even Laura Bailey had to
Yeah, Laura Bailey had to do it too.
Yeah, that was Owen.
But again, that was people weren't really. Well, I mean, people were trolling eventually, but I mean, like that was a legit, misunderstanding on the part of people. So
Sure.
it's whatever.
You might remember how
I can at least buy that Neil Druckmann isn't that crass.
Okay, so you might remember in the first game where, as playing as Joel and Ellie, and even with Ari and Sam in tow, we had to take care of a sniper and we had to do basically what we're doing right now. We're basically taking advantage of cover in these vehicles while we try our inch by inch trying to get closer to the sniper guy. This is the same thing. It goes on for a bit longer, but fortunately, since you have a stronger run button, it works a lot better. And not to mention, there's a bit more to this duel than there was in the first game, to be fair. So basically, the same rules apply. Try your best to time your movements with the shots. Like, obviously, every time it's a sniper rifle, so obviously you can only shoot one bullet at a time. So every time he shoots one, that's your cue to be able to move safely. Like I'm doing, see? So there you go.
I've got to say, news between the WLF must travel very slowly for Manny to not know that Abby was supposedly detained.
That's the thing, Jova. Like Manny is part of her friend circle, so he's willing to just do anything for her in particular. So.
Once again, we get a guy who was cruel to Joel, but now that we see the side from Abby, he's incredibly friendly, yo.
That's the basic gist of it, yeah.
Yes, continue shooting that corpse, dude.
It's target practice.
Now, allow me to remind everybody of something. Remember, back during Allie's campaign in Day 3, as we heard that Tommy was apparently sniping the WLF.
Yep.
And then that's when Jesse separated himself from Allie to go help Tommy. So yes, the sniper we're trying to kill now is Tommy.
So go, Tommy!
Let me guess, we end up killing Tommy after.
Well, no, remember, Drebs, we already know that Tommy makes it to the end of Day 3. So.
Yeah, we literally can't because that would create a time paradox.
Exactly.
Since when's that out of the realm of this game?
Well, to be fair, so far there hasn't been any contradictions like that. Not that I've noticed, at least.
Well, I mean, this whole game's a contradiction.
How about this, Dwips? How about this? I can give you an argument for something that actually is definitely there, but I'm gonna have to wait for the epilogue to point that out. I was also gonna... Yeah, I will say this. This is the one part of Abby's campaign that actually does what the entire campaign should have done. Recontextualize Ellie's side of the story. You know, for the first and only time in Abby's campaign, we're actually doing something that actually is related to what Ellie is doing at the exact same time.
We can use this as cover.
About time.
Now here's a bit.
What are they?
Well, yeah. Right now, Ellie is going through the mall, and Jesse.
I mean, what's inside that car?
Oh no, it's cover. It's just cover to protect themselves from the bullets.
I thought it was like little mini fuel tanks or something.
No. I don't even know what it is. Go ahead, Joel.
Anyway, back to what I was saying about the Seraphite. It says wasted potential there. Yeah. Yeah. The only they're basically treated as interchangeable mooks at best, whose nominal leader lasts about 3 minutes. The game seems to build up to a proper Seraphite antagonist in Lev and Yara's mother, but she's killed off-screen by Lev.
Mm-hmm. And don't worry.
Sorry, go on.
And don't worry about that quote-unquote spoiler, because the game doesn't even give you time to process that, because this game's fetish. Go ahead.
Oh, the only reason I
it's like J.J. Abrams directed this movie. A sudden plot point, and then action.
Well, that's more so his writing, to be fair.
The only reason I'm mentioning it is because Dwibs already guessed it and Pedro already confirmed the spoiler.
Yeah, that's more so his writing, to be honest. But anyway...
I mean, his directing can be like that as well itself.
So, ready for another game of sniper round?
Yeah, basically he's now using the noise from the bullets to lure the infected towards us, which is actually a pretty smart move on his part. You know what would be actually cooler? If instead of playing as Ellie during this particular bit of the story in the first half, we played as Tommy. You know, wouldn't it be so cool? Wouldn't it be cool if we did this fight from two sides?
It's like I said, Tommy is such a wasted character in this game. They wasted the opportunity to have him interact with Ellie, and why not give us an opportunity to play as Tommy here? Like, here's a good question. Did it really just need to be Ellie and Abby? Like, with how much the game pads stuff out, why not mix things up by letting us play as all these different characters or whatnot? Like, you could argue maybe that might be padding in and of itself, but it at least change up the perspectives a bit more. Like, I get what they're trying to go for. A dual layer thing between Ellie and Abby, you know, to be parallels. But I'm sorry, with how drawn out the game is, you could have afforded to allow us to play as other characters. Hell, we technically did get to play as Joel earlier, too, so... Yeah, why not?
It's also... again, it also needs to be pointed out again. Right now, the game is on full-blown filler mode. There's literally no reason to now suddenly focus on the war between the WLF and the Scars. That subplot has...
The only reason we're getting dragged back into it is because Lev ran off like an idiot for their mother.
Exactly, and that's
literally the only reason.
It's literally the only way Neil and Haley could get Abby, Yara, and Lev out of the aquarium so that Ellie can come in and kill them, as we know she does. Again, it just comes across as nothing but self-indulgent filler, because there's literally you can literally skip this day and nothing would be lost. It's literally nothing. Like the subplot between the Seraphites and the WLF doesn't change anything in terms of the dynamic between Ellie and Abby. So Abby's arc has made its point by now. So what's the point of this?
If I recall correctly, a certain character's death, which should be coming up soon, would be lost if you cut out this day.
Which one?
Well, saying it would spoil.
Whatever, you can bring that up when it becomes relevant then. Feel free to text me if you want.
Yeah, here's the problem with the game in particular here. From this perspective, supposedly we're supposed to be rooting for Abby and Manny. Here's the problem. they were two of the worst people involved in killing Joel. And no amount of trying to show us their more kinder side will not make us root for them over Tommy. If anything, it provides some catharsis factor if Tommy guns him down. Yeah, I know that sounds dark and grim, but neither character has earned
That
my
just
sympathy.
that just goes to show, Jova, how unilluminated you are. This game is trying to teach you, Jova, how you're so wrong for thinking that violence is horrible, and you should just learn to choose compassion over cruelty.
Context is everything, Neil and other writers.
Hey, you know what's funny? Neil fell into the same trap as David Cage. For a guy who's supposedly saying that this game is against violence, a lot of problems get solved thanks to violence.
Again, it's like I said, we're supposed to be learning from stuff from the late 90s, in this case, the first Pokemon movie.
And I'm going to say, even the first Pokemon movie did this better. I mean, it was...
It was still stupid, but...
Yeah, do not get it was
And
still
from what I've
stupid.
heard, it's not like the Japanese version was any better.
I've never seen
No, the Japanese version was even worse, because in the Japanese version, Mew is a fucking asshole who just wants to kill the clones because they're pieces of shit. I'm not kidding. Mew is a fucking evil bastard in the original Japanese script.
Like, here's the thing. When it comes to the first Pokemon movie, you can pretty much chalk it up to overindulgence of violence is what's wrong. The movie just did a terrible job of ordering it. This game cannot stick to its moral. It really cannot, because like I said, most of the problems in this game are solved by violence. And nobody comes out of this looking better, except for what the game wants you to believe.
Exactly.
Not only that, but at the last minute, the game kind of changes morals from violence is wrong to revenge is wrong. Like,
What's both?
So that's the thing, though. It's like, well, the violence thing kind of falls off the wagon by the end. It's more so strictly just about vengeance, and do not get me wrong. That ending is going to get its own proper tongue lashing for how terrible it is. But I'm not even going to touch on the tip of that iceberg. To touch on the tip of that iceberg would literally suck us into the vortex of awfulness that ending is. Let me put it like this. You know that ending that was supposedly leaked, that everyone thought was going to be the end and hated? The actual ending is 10 times worse. I'll say it right now, would have been better if we had ended with the ending that was supposedly leaked.
It's also... no, going back to the earlier point, no, that's actually one of the few moments where I actually do prefer 4Kids changing something in the script, because I don't even understand what the hell was why the hell the original writers were being so mean-spirited on that movie, to be honest. Like, what's the point of turning Mew? You can make an argument that they were trying to reach moral ambiguity, like instead of just having Mew be the pure one to Mewtwo's villain, they wanted to have them both be assholes to make it more interesting than just a very typical good versus evil fight. I get that, but Pokemon is not really a franchise that's really cut out for that kind of stuff, to be honest. You should stick to a more simple good versus evil type of story, to be honest.
Not only that, but considering the amount of Pokemon that participated in the battle, kinda wouldn't want a lot of the trainers' Pokemon to be participating with what was essentially an evil eugenicist Pokemon like Mew is in the Japanese dub.
Have you seen? I haven't seen it myself. But did you guys see the CG remake of?
I saw bits of it. It's literally just the same movie.
Not seen it yet.
It's literally the same movie. But I don't know. From what I haven't seen. I saw the English dub, for the record. I didn't see the Japanese version. I'm actually wondering if they kept the Japanese version script the same. But the English script of the new one is basically the same. There's some words changed here and there, but it's literally just a copy paste. It's basically a copy paste job, basically.
Now, neither of us have seen the movie in full, so maybe they add some changes to the plots, but I have no idea.
Well, hey Pedro, you're not a huge fan of Veronica Taylor's Ash voice, so bam, you have the newer one right there for you.
Well, like I said, I do like the current one. I realize that Pokemon fans consider that blasphemy for me to say, because Pokemon fans loved Veronica Taylor's Ash voice. But like I said, to me, she just comes across as a woman trying to sound like a boy. I can always tell it's a woman trying to sound like a boy instead of, like Kate Higgins is so believable. And Colin, I forgot her last name, the woman who plays Tails right now. They're so good at, doing boy voices. I don't think Veronica's very good at that, personally.
Anyway, back to the plot at hand.
Oh, okay. Check this out. And Manny's dead. And Manny's dead.
Okay. What I just did.
Wow, that was random.
What I just did was reenact a lot of fans' reactions to Manny's death here. There you go, Pedro. There's something that actually makes Day 3 matter. Manny's dead.
Somehow, are you gonna cry or
somehow I still. Well, it's a thing, Dwebs. She doesn't have time to grieve because she's being chased by Tommy. So
also looks like a bit of both, really.
Yeah.
Wait, Pedro. I thought it was WLF protocol to scream your compatriots.
Yeah, true. Let's do it for her. Manny, no. There you go.
Seriously, Abby, isn't it part of group protocol to scream out the person's name?
That's why she got chucked out of the WLF.
There you go.
She didn't take to the habit of saying people's names when they die.
Okay, I just want to say it. This game has a fucking fetish for randomly, unceremoniously killing people suddenly and not giving us any second to process that death.
I mean, I guess that's a thing in real life.
It is, yeah. But again, But again, not everything that happens in real life will automatically transition into a good story.
Look, I think for important characters, they should have given us, or at least prevalent characters, that's probably a better word, they should have given us, more time to actually process the situation. If it was just, because, again, we kind of expect characters to die in a universe like this, be honest with that. But again, there are certain characters that just should have a little more dignity given to them, I should say. Not in the sense of, how they die, it's going to be pretty grim, but narratively speaking.
Yeah, some of you might be saying in the audience, well, but Pedro and Shiroi, in real life, there's no meaningful, dignified deaths. Well, actually, no, sometimes there are. Not many, but there are. Those are stories people tell, called movies and games and books, the things it's those kinds of deaths that make stories interesting. But go ahead.
Not only that, but let's take this into consideration. Go, Tommy, go. Let's take this into consideration here. This is essentially a dark parallel to, when Jesse eventually just gets shot out of nowhere.
There you go, Dips. He just falls into the water. He doesn't actually die.
That's how we later come across him.
Remember, Joe, but Jesse's on the way, so I'm assuming Jesse's the one that saves him, most likely.
Oh, hey, Yara. You kind of just popped up, but yeah. Okay. Now, I get it. They're trying to make Manny as a parallel to Jesse, how Jesse gets shot out of nowhere from Ellie's side. Here's the problem. Jesse was a character people actually liked. Apparently, the writers assumed that we would suddenly enjoy Manny as a character by showing his more nicer side, quote-unquote, except not really. And by killing him off immediately there, well, congrats, you pretty much wrapped a bow on this character, and the results were in. Most people actually cheered when Tommy killed him, because as far as we knew, he was still a terrible person and had not earned our sympathy, which is why he's under the TV trope of unintentionally unsympathetic. Gee, can't imagine why.
God damn it, Lev. You just had to do this to make the game longer. Jesus Christ.
I guess the one good thing is that Tommy got to kill Manny. I'll take it. A brother of Joel's getting to do an awesome thing and giving it to somebody who actually did have it coming.
Shiroi.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the Seraphites, it's not the fact that he's a trans boy that makes me think it's an abomination. The reason I think it's an abomination is because he's basically just a plot device to force stupid plot points and force the game to run out longer.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've already discussed this, but this character I'm going to elaborate a bit more on it when this is all done, but Like, he literally exists just to push Neil's narrative. Like, he's not a character, he's a plot device.
Sure. It's not just him, it's the Seraphites in general. Literally, you could have replaced the Seraphites with any random group or gang member, but no, they're specifically a religious cult. The main thing they focus on is the transphobia and their lack of use of technology, even though they still use technology, so screw off with trying to be about a social commentary, Neil.
Oh, I absolutely agree. It's just, for obvious reasons, like, the beef I have with this is a little more personal.
I guess maybe you can make an argument. Well, not an argument. Like, I mean, I'm guessing maybe you can say that Lev is basically the token trans character of the game. Like, he's just here for the sake of brownie points, and that's terrible. No, I'm aware. I'm aware of that. Yeah, like, it's kind of like how like it's this case where he's just here because Neil wants brownie points. That's all.
I want to see how the arc ends first.
Well, not even that. He's, like we've established, he's literally just there to make Abby look good in the long run. And Lev doesn't really get to accomplish much.
I was about to ask the question, if I remember correctly. Is it here? It's somewhere in this part. Okay, I guess it's not here. Go ahead.
He's literally just there to make Abby look good. Lev doesn't get to really accomplish much on his own as a character.
No.
And a lot of it is just him getting victimized, abused, or nearly murdered because...
Feel sorry for him, Jova. Feel sorry for him.
Maybe I'd feel sorry for him if the game... Here's the thing. The game has not told us much about him outside of, his struggles and, something about not liking dogs, but really liking sharks. Other than that...
It's now. I think it's now. I think it's during this conversation that she says it. Yeah.
We don't deserve this. But also, I needed to.
There you go. See, Shiroi? That's... Yeah, I had to. So there you go, Shiroi. Here are her two answers when she gets asked this question. Both first by Lev, first she says, I just needed to lighten the load a bit. Now Yara asks it, and she says, I guess you guys don't deserve this. You two specifically. And then she means, and I guess I just needed to. You needed to. No, you didn't. Like, you see what I mean? Neil literally is struggling to come up with a reason to justify this.
If it wasn't, I would be more willing to buy this if it wasn't for, all the other issues with Abby that don't really have anything to do with this. But
again, this is Abby's campaign in a general. Sidestep and detour off the path of the part so that we can add in something to make her more likable. Because the beta testers initially didn't like her.
Yeah.
Gee, can't imagine why.
All right, everybody. We'll get back to Neil Druckmann's ass in the next part.
See you then.
See ya.
the last of us.
See ya.
Boo.